Hi, welcome back to Three Talking Rabbits. I'm Gail. We are working on the tarot card project today, and this is the Page of Battens. Last time I showed you my gesture drawing process with the King of Battens. This is the Page, and we're downstairs in my library again, so it is chaos. So here is... He sent me a bunch of reference images. Here's the one that I like for the main pose. We're going to be moving his arms and obviously giving him a spear to hold on to. But I like the way the legs are positioned. I like the contrapposto. You know, the hips tip this way and the shoulders tip that way. I like how it's a straight-on facial expression, slightly looking up at him, because that gives me an opportunity for a vista behind him. So, we're going to look at the grid first, and you can see that the figure is in the right half of the frame. So that's where we're going to start. He's going to take up a little bit more space than that, but that's fine. I want to make sure I leave room for his elbow to come up. So we're just going to scoot this on over a little bit. And this elbow is going to tip this way, so it won't be breaking too much of that center line. My sketches were not a perfect 1-to-1 ratio. Again, totally fine. Now, the pages are generally supposed to be young people, but that is not, like, strictly necessary, I guess. And that's fine. These are commissions, so, you know, it's who commissioned it, not being a slave to the Rider-Waite interpretation. And what I'm doing is I'm just blocking out the main areas of the shapes in the photograph. And I may move things if I don't particularly like where something is, or how, you know, if something's a little bit awkward, I'll shove it around. If I don't get something quite right translating here, I'll move it around. I'm not going to be tremendously stuck to what's here for obvious reasons, because I'm not repainting a photograph. I'm borrowing elements of a photograph for a painting. I am going to sketch in his arm just a little bit so that I have an idea of how long it is, but that's not going to stay there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw through it for his hip and the armor that's there. And he did specifically request this particular armor, which is fine because it's lovely. Will it be an exact copy? No, but it'll be close. What's nice is that it fits in really well with the fairy tale themes that the other artists have been going with. And again, even though this arm is going to change, I'm just going to sketch in the basics of where it is so that I have an idea of what his proportions are, so that mentally I can move that around. And I know approximately how long his elbow is, and I can foreshorten it, but it's not going to end up, you know, way, way off. Big fan of this footwork right here. Very spiffy stuff. Nice foreshortened shoe. I usually end up changing these because they look funny in real life. I'll probably tip it out a little bit more so that it reads more as a foot. It's a hazard of going between photography and artwork. Okay, so that's as much tracing as I'm going to do. Light box goes away. Alright, so I put the photograph into the reference file. Everything lives in here, so that the whole project is kept together. So when I'm not working on this, it slides in here, and that way I have all of my sketches, all of my reference photos, anything that he particularly wanted, all goes in this file so it doesn't get lost. Or it all gets lost, as the case may be. Okay, so I'm sorry my heater's on. It is cold today, so you get to listen to a motor noise. Okay, so like I said, I didn't like how this was foreshortening there. It looks awkward in the drawing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring his heel out just a little bit, and we're going to bring his toe out like that. And then suddenly we look like a foot. Even though it's not like that in real life, we do that in art to make it look right. Okay? So it doesn't look like it's a stubby little weird thing. Next, what I need to do is pop the spear in there, and it goes from right between his feet and I'm going to continue that a little bit farther than I need to, because I can always make it shorter, or harder to make longer. Like most things, measure twice, cut once. Alright, now his elbow is here. Elbows run on an arc. So we're going to arc this over. Shoulders basically stay where they are. Okay, you can bring your shoulders in a little bit like this, which is what's going to happen here. And forearm, yep, is approximately that long, like that. And then his hand, back of the hand is going to be here with the fingers wrapping around. Thumbs are big. They're a lot bigger than you think they are. So hands have like a sort of a trapezoid shape on the back, and then there's this triangle bit. So here's the trapezoid of the hand, and then here's the triangle bit of the thumb, and then the fingers come off of that. Hands are really bulky and really big. They're much bigger than you think they are. And then we're going to have his arm. Elbow comes up in an arc like this. Okay, and I think what I want to do is we're going to draw through. There we go. Okay, so by drawing through, which means I drew that line through the spear, that lets me see where this is going to hit. And there's his elbow. See, it's right on that arc. And we want that hand to be in front, like he's wrapping around. And it might be a little bit awkward right now. I'll get it figured out. I'll probably have to have my husband pose for me to help me figure out where this is sitting. And I think I need to bring this elbow up so that he's more out and it's a little bit more foreshortened in order to have that look right, but we'll figure it out. I don't want him to end up looking like a standard bearer. I want him to end up looking like he's sort of resting on his spear. Let's see, if he's holding like this, we're going to see the trapezoid of the hand here, sort of like that, and the triangle there, that doesn't look right. I know it goes up. That's not quite right. We're not in the right place there. We'll figure it out. I'll have my husband hold something big and we'll figure it out. But then, anyway, that gives you an idea of, you know, now we have 4 hands here, or 5 hands here, because I'm moving things around a lot. But I know I've got to figure that out, and I think I want to bring that down a little bit because that's going to interfere with the spearhead, and I want to have room for the spearhead. So that may have to come down. That's okay. Actually, I think I'm going to bring that down right now. Like, more like there. Yeah, that's better, because then that's more in line with his head. He's not like way, way up. He's a little bit more relaxed. More like there. Okay, I like that a little bit better. I don't want to do too much sketching on this paper because if I erase too much and like fiddle with it too much, it doesn't hold up well. What I don't want to do is I don't want to lose where this spear is, because if I lose that and then I get going on a hand and then the hand's in the wrong place and I get a beautiful hand, I have to redraw it because then it doesn't make sense. Alright, but we know we want it to be right about in here somewhere. Like that. That's the general area we want that hand to be in. I try to stick with using my gummy eraser as much as possible. And now I need to pull in the background. For this particular card, he's supposed to be overlooking a rocky landscape with a river, because what the card is about is the potential for growth. So it's a fertile valley, but there's nothing really growing in it right now. So there is this wonderful I've got paths running through most of these, like curvy paths. So I want him standing on the curvy path. And we're going to have that loop around down to the river. There's actually a castle in the background on the one. I might have that, I might lower that. And then have the river. We want to have a green space here, or greenish or something. And then the river is going to be over here. We're going to have the river by his skirt. And of course I've squeezed because he's a little bit bigger in real life. But that's okay. Here's our scree pile. Nice big rock. Cliff face up into the, almost up into the sky there. Got some nice uplifted landforms here, super fun. Okay, and then our river curves back around right about there. So we got a nice S in there for the river. And we want some hills for our drainage basin. And then we're going to go far distant hills right about shoulder level. And we're going to swoop up here. I want his hand in the sky, but just into some far mountains. We want some hills here. There's a castle in this. We're not going to put a castle in this. I've got castles in almost all of them, but I did have the castle in there, and it just looked weird. So no castle in this one. We're going to have a nice, elegant body that's naturally cut by... Choop! Choop. That's a technical term, just in case you didn't know. Let's see. We got a castle in there. What are we doing? Let's have some tree line coming down. We're making Letchworth State Park here, folks. That's a local park. Local state park that I am tremendously fond of. Let's throw some trees in there. Okay, I don't want to make this valley too green like it is in the picture, but we'll figure out how to make it a little bit rockier and a little bit more potentially, or potential-ish, or whatever. Okay, so that's it. That's the drawing in of, except for we want a nice spearhead. He needs a spearhead as per his request. Let me bring that down just a little bit more. And for the card, this is actually supposed to be like sprouting something or other to demonstrate the potential of. And so I'll have to figure out how to make it sprout, to have it be a spear that is sprouting. I've done it in some of the other. Oh, when last we left our intrepid adventure, I had the loose pencil sketch in. Still haven't taken a picture of the hands. But I want to get his face in here. It's not bad there, but it's not like a drawing that I can actually follow with the ink. So I really want to get that dialed in. So I am looking at my photo reference here. And the thing with the light board is that you miss a lot. And they tend to be things that, like, on the light board, you see light and dark really easily. But you really miss subtleties, especially if things are close in tone. And so sometimes shapes and stuff like that will be off. Like here, where the hat gets lost in the tent because they're so close, and his beard and the side of his neck is lost in that because it's very strong sunlight. So the shape of this is more down here, like that. And I want to get the shape of his cheeks in. He's got very full cheeks. I got lucky with all my guys this round. They all have these really cute round faces. I'm going to make every single one of you blush when I say that. I like round faces. They're fun to draw. So most of my girls have cute round faces too. It's really nice. It's like I got a special treat. I think all of my guys have beards too. I love beards. They're tremendous fun to paint. Actually, no, I have one that doesn't have a beard. Fur is sort of a love-hate relationship for me, but I like doing human hair and beards. And his nose is going to look a little bit funny right now. That's okay. It won't look funny in the painting. And this is all like fiddly little work, but it's really important to get it in there and like have him looking the same way. Knowing where the eyebrows sit, even though they're going to blend right into the cap, is really important for my ink lines. I do not put glasses on people. Now he's going to get a full mouth inked in, mostly because of the beard. I don't usually ink in a full line of the mouth. Reason being is that it's too dark, but it's really dark on him. And he does have... I don't ink in lips because lips are a tonal change. I am going to ink a couple beard strands, just like where the hair breaks and there's a deeper, darker tone, because that's going to say this is a beard. Sort of like with a cat's tail, you do a couple little V you know, upside down V's on it or something like that. And that's like, this is a cat's tail. So I had a few people who are older folks who specifically asked me if I would make them like younger in this, which I thought was kind of cool. So I get to see my friends like 30, 40 years ago. It's kind of cool. I am going to make him look just a touch younger for the card, but I'm not going to make him like young. I don't really think it's necessary. Alright, now I got to do a little bit of imagination here because I don't actually know what this armor necessarily looks like. This guy makes armor. Like he makes leather armor, so he's going to know when I screw something up, but I'm going to try not to make too many mistakes here. Okay, then I'm not a huge fan of how this almost touches right here, so I'm going to shorten this. And that's going to leave a little bit more room right there. And you know what? I'm also going to bring it in. Right there. I don't want it to look like a coonskin cap though, so maybe, you know what, maybe I'm going to do so it doesn't look like a coonskin cap, because that's what it's doing right now, is we're just going to drop it down back behind. And all of a sudden we go into Lear pipe territory. Alright, no more coonskin cap. Okay. I had my husband pose for me for the hands. Very different than what I expected. I have the vine going up the spear, so that answers that need. I have changed from the original source image. These were all trees through here, and I've turned them into rocks, except for these will still be trees because of course we want something growing. I did pop a castle in, and he has approved the drawing, so at this point I can put it back in its envelope until it's ready to ink. So thank you for joining us here at Three Talking Rabbits for the drawing process of Patron's Tarot Deck number 2, Baton Suit.